Welcome back to Buzz TV. I'm Steve Strum. This morning on Ask the Attorney, we have Jeff Cramer from Cramer Law. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us today.
I'm happy to be here.
So we're talking offset. Tell us a little bit about your firm, who you are, what you do in the wonderful world of legal profession.
We have a small firm. It's called Cramer Law Center, and we focus on estate planning, primarily being proactive, helping families plan for their future and protect their loved ones. And we also do other related crisis work, such as probate, guardianship, and trust and estate litigation.
So when you say estate litigation, what does that mean?
People contesting a will, contesting a trust, arguing about who gets what, or things of that nature. A poorly planned estate usually ends up in some type of family dispute, things like that.
And you have a history previous to focusing on the estate component, being in the courtroom. So you were telling me offset a little bit about that.
Well, that's true. I call myself a recovering litigator. I litigated civil cases all over the state of Florida for more than 30 years. But for the last 10 years, I've been focusing on helping keep my clients out of court and to not have the stress that accompanies those things.
I can appreciate that, because being paid to argue for 30 years that could be a challenge, a bit of a marathon.
It is, and I enjoyed it for the first 20, and then, less. So it was time to get out.
Well, so within the world of estate planning, you focus on trying to make sure, obviously, people's wills and desires and things that they want to leave for their families and businesses and charities and stuff are done in an equitable way. And you were mentioning something offset about how important it is not just to do the will, but that trust can be for everybody.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a myth. There's a lot of myths about estate planning that we try to educate people about in our monthly workshop, which we call The Truth About Estate Planning. But one of the myths is that trusts are very complicated vehicles and they're only for the wealthy, which is interesting because most people define wealthy as more than I have. Mm-hmm. So everybody, it's not for them, it's for somebody wealthier than them. But that's not true. A will, as a matter of fact, is almost guaranteed to fail. I would venture to say that 90% of the people who do an estate plan based on a will, their plan will not meet their needs. And, the first myth right there is wills are not really very good.
So a will is, just for the purposes of us, people understanding it through the show, a will is I died, my wife gets it. My wife dies, I get it. We both die. Well, I guess Stephen gets it, who's a minor. But a trust, same rules, but what happens to it is also added in. Is that correct?
Well, it's more than that. The will can be whatever you want it to be, but it's a one-time transfer on death of whatever your assets are to whoever the people you decide to leave them to. It guarantees that your family must go through probate, which is a court proceeding. It's like a lawsuit. The family has to be in front of a judge. The judge is going to make rulings about different things. It's open for challenge or litigation. It's slower, it's more public, and it's more expensive than if you do a trust. And a trust is a more robust agreement that you make, which is a private agreement. It can be settled by the family out of court quicker and less expensively than through probate. It's more comprehensive. You can make plans for disability as well as death, leave really good explicit instructions for your family, and just be far more detailed than a will. It's a living trust, works during your lifetime as well as after death, whereas a will just works after death.
So I'm sure there's a lot of detail behind those pieces of advice, and you said you have a workshop that you do monthly, so people can actually come and learn about this that you do to give back to the community.
Absolutely. I'm very passionate about trying to teach people, since there's so much people don't know and there's a lot of misinformation out there on the internet and through television and whatnot. Every month we do The Truth About Estate Planning. It's a 2.5-hour educational event. It's free to the public, and we have a classroom in our building that we use. The next one is June 6th at 9:30 a.m. and it runs to noon, and we do that every month. I'm teaching people one person at a time.
Now, if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
Well, they can call us at 904-448-9978.
Okay.
Or we're on the web. We have a website, cramerlawcenter.com, and that's Cramer with a C. It's not like Kramer on Seinfeld or Kramer versus Kramer. It's
The Cramer
with a C.
With a C. Got it. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. I really appreciate what you're doing to give back for the estate planning thing, because there's new things happening every day in that, and that's very appreciated. So do very much appreciate you joining. Guys, thanks for joining us this morning. If you like us, share us. And remember, live with gratitude.